Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. I want to do a video today talking about my beautiful baby Lumina, Lumina Jubilee, who is going to be 3 years old tomorrow. 3 years old! I like to call her my little baby bear or my little big girl because she's little but she's getting big. And I wanted to share her with you today because tomorrow is a very special day. If you follow me on YouTube or on Steemit, guys, you may already know that Lumina has a very rare muscular dystrophy. It's a congenital muscular dystrophy, which it's called Walker-Warburg syndrome. But congenital muscular dystrophies are essentially a disorder or a disease that prevents your musculature from growing. In fact, it degrades over time, and so when you get it as a baby, when you get a muscular dystrophy as a young one, of course, it's very devastating because it can affect the development in utero of your brain, of your muscles, of your and your ability to, breathe on your own or walk on your own, or do a lot of things that typical children would do. And Lumina, before we met Lumina, we were told that she probably wouldn't be able to breathe on her own. That once she was outside of her mother, that she would probably die. And as you can imagine, that is terrifying, and that was the scariest thing I've ever experienced. And it nearly, I think, broke my wife and I. I remember asking the doctor, like, if she dies, will we be able to hold her for a while? And because I didn't know like what the rules were. I didn't know like what would happen, or would they just take her away right away? And and I remember the doctor just like sharing some tears with us and being just saying reassuringly, yeah, you guys can stay with her if that happens, and just hold her and be with her. And it was, it was horrible. It was terrifying. And the very next day, that was the day before she came, before her scheduled C-section, and then she came, and again, we weren't sure she would have the power to breathe on her own because of her brain's development or lack of development. And we just prayed that God would help her, and that she would have the power to kind of be with us for a while, whatever that meant, to live with us for as long as God would let her be with us. And I remember being in the emergency room with my wife, and my wife is cut open, and Lumina's being brought out by C-section, and I'm beside my wife, and we're holding hands, and we're just praying and hoping, and then I heard this little cry from over in the corner of the room, and I remember thinking and saying, "That's my little baby," and I said that to my wife. I said, "That's our little baby," and she's crying, and I don't know if it's clear now, but in the moment we both knew that those tears, that crying from that child meant that child had oxygen to breathe. And so we knew Lumina was strong, and she was breathing, and she was doing great. And so, yes, she has a congenital muscular dystrophy, and yes, it's been a really difficult life for her. She has seizures sometimes, and she has to go to the hospital sometimes, and she can't kind of run around like typical girls her age. But she is a little beacon of joy, and she is so beautiful. And the lessons that she offers to me and her mom and to her family and to anybody that's willing to listen, I know is such a beautiful, hopeful message, which is this: that we're all really, beautiful and special, and there's like a life and a light in each of us that we can, that we have an opportunity to cherish, not just our own light, but the light of the ones around us. And I know sometimes that we don't. I know sometimes that I didn't. And Lumen has helped me to grow in that dimension of myself, And it's a beautiful gift because she's helped me realize how special little ones can be when they have special needs, how important they still are. They're not, their lives aren't less. They're not disappointing or unfortunate or sad. They're wonderful and joyous and beautiful and perfect. And that's why I like to say, she may not be normal, but she is perfect, because she is. She's exactly what God meant her to be, and she is such a joy to have and to know and to be around. And she makes me smile, and sometimes she makes me so happy I just want to scream. And we have this this kind of relationship that's just, I can't really fully convey. If you're a parent, there are no words for the love that you guys share between you and your little ones. And the same is true for me and this little girl. And so it isn't sad or unfortunate when people have diseases, or it doesn't diminish the beauty of their life, let's say. And sometimes I think we forget that. So I hope that today, the day before my little Lumina's 3rd birthday, her miracle life and the joy that she carries and that she offers is a message to anybody who's watching that disability and disease do not erase or eliminate joy and beauty. Of course, we don't want her to be sick. Of course, we don't want her to have seizures. Of course, we wish she had. I pray that God will erase and remove and alleviate any of the illness that she has. I do that regularly, and I believe that He can do that. But then here we are, and He hasn't done that, and yet she is wonderful now. She is beautiful now, and so I think it's important for us to reconcile the distinction between sadness and joy, because I'm sad that she doesn't have a typical life, and that most of the kids her age don't live to be 3. I'm sad that she has a lot of friends in her with her disorder that have passed away before even 2. I'm sad that she has to have seizures and that she has to do medications every single day. I'm sad that she can't talk to me like my other little girl did at 3 years old. She does talk to me, but not the same way. But I'm joyful that she's here. I'm joyful that I can hear her breath in my ear while I'm talking to you. I'm joyful that she can feel my cuddles and that she can know my love. She does know my love, guys. It's so amazing. When I give her too many kisses, she goes like, "Dad, come on." And when we're singing praise or worship songs, or we're watching a kid show that she loves, she'll just she does this big smile, and it's very hard for her to move her body, but she kind of explodes up and she gives a big smile and she throws her arm up. So there is so much room for joy, even when there's a lot of sadness. And that is true objectively. That's true, guys. Believe it. God can offer you joy even when you're wrapped and soaked in sadness, because sadness isn't the opposite of joy. Tim Keller, he's a pastor in New York City, and he's an author of a lot of great books. He says, sadness is not the opposite of joy. Sadness is the opposite of happiness. And happiness is great, but you don't get to... Happiness is fleeting. Happiness is like, I like that burger. Hey, that joke is funny. Or, I just feel happy today. It's like, okay, great, but you feel happy today. That's a fleeting, passing thing that comes and goes depending upon circumstance. But joy is what we carry in our hearts, or not. You can choose to not, but you can carry it all the time, irrespective of circumstance, regardless of disease or loss or disappointment. You can have joy in your heart. Yeah, you agree? Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but she said, yeah. Yeah, guys. So anyways, my baby bear is going to be 3 years old tomorrow, and I'm very happy. And I'm very grateful. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. And I hope that some part of this message is an encouragement to you. If you know somebody who maybe has disability or some sort of disorder, I hope that it's a reminder that that they are they're so special, and sometimes we don't see it. You know, we don't we kind of look, we get blinded by the disappointment, let's say. But if you can get around that disappointment, because that's a valid feeling, you're allowed to feel that disappointment, but you can get around that, guys, and there's so much room for joy. And if you don't get around that disappointment, you're losing something. You're sacrificing time, you're sacrificing joy, you're giving up on a lot. So please, if you've got somebody in your life that maybe is struggling with something, or if you see a little girl or a boy, in a wheelchair, don't, if you feel sad, that's okay. But mentally tell yourself, like, that little one has love in their life. And let's put this sadness away, and let's go over and share a smile with that little one. And let's share the joy of their existence, because it's an amazing thing that she gets today, that she gets today, that you get today. It's not a promise that you were going to be here now, listen to this video, or that you're going to have 75 years or whatever. None of that's promised. We get this moment, and that's what we get. And maybe we get the next moment, we don't know. But let's enjoy this one because we have it. Let's not wait for the next moment, or the next day or the next year. Thanks, guys, for your time and attention. I hope you have an amazing day, and God bless you. Say bye-bye, Luma. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks, guys.